Hola chicos, bonjour tout le monde. Basically, we just wanted to make a really quick video to chat all about these new changes that have come out with all the exams, and obviously I can kind of only speak for French and Spanish. So I spoke about these on my Instagram story last night, and I have highlighted them for those of you that might want to hear me rant on about these a little bit. But basically, just to kind of clarify what has happened. So if you've seen the document that was released, I'm going to speak about Spanish first, then we'll have a quick chat about French. But basically, the Spanish exam has now changed so that you'll still have the choice of your prescribed literature and your journalistic text, and the majority of students can only answer the journalistic text because they haven't studied any prescribed literature. So basically what that means is when you open up your exam paper, the very first comprehension, if you haven't read a book, you're going to skip over that and go straight to your journalistic text as you would normally. After that then, you're going to have your two short comprehensions, and usually you'd be required to answer both of them, but now you can answer either A or B, and so that's your question 2 basically. So you do one of the 2 short comprehensions, and that's actually be marked out of 10 marks now instead of out of 20, and you will answer all of the questions for that in English. From there you will then go on to your section B. Section B hasn't changed, so you will still whether, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, you'll still have to do your long comprehension and then your opinion piece, and you will still be given 3 titles instead of 2 for your opinion piece, so you'll have a little bit of extra choice and you will answer again on one of them in Spanish. Don't write an opinion piece in English, I'll be so annoyed, okay? But so anyway, doing that in Spanish. And that hasn't changed. The marking scheme for section B hasn't changed at all, so that's still going to be worth 100 marks. Then moving into section C, this is probably where we've seen the biggest changes. So question 1 used to be a choice between a dialogue construction, question A, and a formal letter, question B. And question 2 was a choice between question A, a diary entry, and question B, a note. And students would have been required to answer one of the choices for question 1 and question 2. You guys have gotten away with murder basically, and you only have to answer one of those 4 questions, and it'll now be marked out of a total of 25 marks. In terms of what that's going to look like on the paper, I don't know if that means they're going to award marks for a layout and a diary entry and a note, or if they're going to give you 5 things to include so they can be marked out of 25, or what way. They haven't kind of given us a breakdown of any changes to that. But basically, so you do one of those questions and you'll be marked out of 25 marks. And as far as I'm aware, the dialogue construction will still be made up of 6 parts, and you'll be marked out of your top 5, and I would assume they're just going to be worth 5 marks each now instead. So that's probably where we've seen the biggest changes happen in the Spanish exam. In terms of the aural and the oral components, as stated, there's no changes to them other than what we already know about the oral exams. But basically what that means is, as far as we know, that your oral exam is still going to be worth 25%, and the aural exam is still going to be worth 20% at higher level, and then they'll be flipped around for ordinary level. But basically what that means that they're going to have to do is, I'm trying to think off the top of my head now, can I do quick maths? I'm not even going to try and do this, right? So whatever amount of marks your written paper is going to be worth total, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but whatever amount of marks it's going to be worth now, that means that they're going to have to weight them so that they might actually, so 1 mark might actually have to be equated to say 1.15 marks or something when your final exam is being corrected, so that the oral and the aural components can still maintain their normal percentage of the exam. So your oral exam will still be worth 25 and your aural will still be worth 20 at higher level, and then the oral is 20% for ordinary level, and the aural is 25% for ordinary level, and that's the same for Spanish and French. Speaking of French, the changes that have been made to the French paper, whereas when you used to go into the exam you would have had your 2 comprehensions, you now only have to do one of them, I don't know if I would assume they're going to still be in the same layout and stuff, but now you only have to answer one of the 2 comprehensions. Then your question 1, so your opinion piece or your story or your 90-word question, whatever it is that you want to call it, is still an obligatory question, so you still have to do it, but you'll still have a choice of A, B and C. In my head, I would imagine that means they're going to give you 2 opinion piece titles and then 1 option for a récit or a story. I don't know, but that's just what I would imagine. So you have to do one of those 3 options, and then for your further questions you've got 5 questions, so 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Whereas we would usually see an A and B option for each question, they have now said that there's no internal choice within the questions themselves, so you're just going to have 5 choices. and from those 5 choices you have to do 1 extra question. So basically you'll do your question 1 of the 3 options given to you, and then you'll do 1 question out of the remaining 5, and that's all of your written exam. Now I would imagine, and again this hasn't been stated, this is just what I would think, so that they're still covering the same syllabus, or that they're still allowing students to, like, they don't want all of your studying to go to waste. I would imagine that it's going to be like your question 1, so like your opinion piece or your story, and then something along the lines of, like, they'll give you a journal intime, like something that would have looked like a question 2B, so say like a formal letter or a letter or an email or a note or something along those lines. And then I would imagine that's probably going to be your question 3, and then questions 4, 5 and 6 will probably be like your 75 words opinion piece questions, like your shorter opinion piece or your reaction questions, if that makes sense. Okay, but again, that hasn't been confirmed, that's just what I would imagine they're going to do, so that they can still cover the same syllabus with a shorter exam. So I just wanted to get that out in the open now, because I know everyone is very stressed about it with regards to what it's going to mean for you guys. It means you have a lot more choice. It means that you're in a position now where you can actually decide that you want to prioritise very specific things. My advice to you would be that if you are going to prioritise specific things, so like say you're going to like only study like an opinion piece and a diary entry, okay, so whether that's for French or Spanish, whatever, that you literally nail every single part of them. You nail the layout in them, you get as many nice phrases as possible, you nail all of your tenses, you make sure your sentence structure is immaculate. Because if you're going to be marked on less questions, or if you have more time to prioritise certain parts of the exam, if you're looking to get a H1 or a H2, you have to now be, there's no room for error. Do you know what I mean? Because these exams are going to be slightly easier, so people are automatically going to do better in them. So to get into that like niche part of the bell curve with the H1s, there's no room for error. So I would recommend that you sit down over the weekend, have a think about where your strengths are in Spanish, prioritise those strengths, and then start practicing them, because you guys are in a position now that no other leaving cert year has been in before to like really like nail this exam. Okay, so anyway, best of luck, buena suerte, bon chance. If you have any questions, if this is on Instagram, leave them in the comments below, or you can message me or get in touch with the school. If you're watching this in Grinds, you can message me on Moodle or whatever, and we will try and keep everyone nice and zen. Okay, so best of luck, and I will chat to you guys soon. Adios.